For the fourth straight year, head coach Barry Bearington and the Stanford Cardinal have made it to the Pac-12 Championship, facing a familiar opponent in the Boise State Broncos, the same team they wrapped up their regular season against last week. And all hopes is it'll be a pretty easy 4-PEAT, especially with that previous game easily going to the Stanford Cardinal. But the biggest difference between these two teams in that last game was the success of the running game. Taj Jewell ran for over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Josh Biggums was just a few yards short of also hitting the century mark. What's even more concerning for the Broncos is head coach Bearington has said Joe Wesovich is 100% healthy heading into this game, now giving the Cardinal a 3-headed attack. One thing that the Broncos did do well is get their receivers involved. Bradley Fine, 8 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. They also found their tight end in Tuttle quite a few times, 81 yards for him. And Big Hill, despite not having a touchdown, he averaged a first down a catch. With us still trying to extend our 40-plus game win streak, we face the Broncos to a point in the year where a loss not only ends the year, but could end this series as we know it. So as we hit the field in SoFi, let's do everything we can to 4-PEAT, to then try to 3-PEAT the Natty and keep us going. As we are underway, it's a big boot that will be returned out of the end zone. A bad decision here from the Broncos return man. It'll be the 11-yard line where Boise State takes the field. Now, we did see a pretty good performance from Anelli in that last game. Had a passing touchdown, did have an interception. We'll look to force more mistakes in this one as the first pass is directed to Fine. Cardinal, though, act quickly to get the stop. And on second down, they swarm Witt in the backfield. It's a loss of 1. Joseph Henry first to arrive on the scene. Pass downfield, and they get Witt out of the backfield. The wheel works to perfection for the Broncos. And they will flip the field. A great route there. Theo Witt, a lot of speed. Ty Holly has to chase him down from the free safety spot. And that's a 1st and 10 down to the opposite 35 here for the Broncos. After 2 bad plays out the gate, a big response. Making some changes here, now going spread empty with trips look to the right-hand side. It's a quick check down to Tuttle, their tight end, upended. But he picks up a gain of 7. Broncos with a little bit of some momentum here early on. RPO is quick to the outside, but short of the first down. Recipient that time was Big Hill, who led them in receptions just a week ago. And they hand it off. Backup running back checks in and is stuffed. Both Lovelace and Dragan read it from their linebacker spot, crashing down and forcing a field goal attempt here at the 27. Broncos take the lead. A good start for them offensively with a massive play on that halfback wheel route. Boise State up 3 to begin the Pac-12 Championship. Now we get to see the league's best offense hit the field. With Wesovich the back, only a couple carries in that last game. They go his way, play 1, and it'll be a loss. Incognito off the left side here of the offensive front. He makes the play. He's been the best player for this Broncos defense. Throwing here and finding the first down is Vallejo. The senior leading the receiving core here for the Stanford Cardinal. Gets the first catch in championship play. 1st and 10, and it's back to Wesovich. Cuts right and rolls over 1. He'll just be getting back to the line for him. Not much space so far out the gate. Boise State very much working on that these last couple weeks. As they've got a receiver downfield, throwing into a bunch. Not sure who that one was intended for, but Vallejo was wide open downfield. 3rd and 10, hard count, no one jumps. Now they've got Lockett in motion all the way across and to the outside. And trying to get outside, that's going to be Sorensen, who makes an adjustment and finds Vallejo, but 5 yards short of the first down. Boise State with a hot start, but it doesn't look like the Cardinal are done. They stay out on that field with a hard count, and Incognito jumps. However, it looks like it's actually a Cardinal jumping early. They get Vaughn, the 3-year starter, at left tackle, and it forces the punt from the Cardinal. Boise ball here already up. Witt takes the handoff here on the draw, picks up 5. Good little burst of speed there as well. Gets away from, I believe it was Henderson, who had some immediate rush on the play. 2nd and 5 as they fake it to 25. Lovelace with pressure and should have been caught. Anelli delivered that one to his tight end Tuttle. Very much a catchable ball, but he drops it. And it forces a 3rd and 5. Covering the middle here. Balls to the outside again, avoiding the rush. And it's an ankle tackle to end the play, but a conversion for Boise State. Just squeezing out some plays here against this defense. And good protection up front against the double A gap blitz. It's fine with a first down. Or Boise State's offense was a little bit slow in their previous matchup. They're moving on all cylinders out the gate this time. 1st and 10. Wide open again across the middle. That's going to be Big Hill for another Boise State first down. Doing a good job of blocking up front and buying time here for Anelli, who's throwing some very clean passes and using, honestly, a similar offense to the Cardinal. We're just seeing a lot of quick passes here, taking the rush away from the Stanford Cardinal that have been so good. Lovelace with pressure, but again, that ball's out. Finding Cobb's back-to-back catches. Boise State yet again is inside scoring range here at the 15. Throw is outside and dropped, and we do have an injury in Jason Blair. Hopefully that's not a lasting injury. Bullet checking in here at DT as it's RPO out to Tuttle. Tyrone Heggie is all over it. That leaves Boise with a 3rd and 9. We'll see if they get the snap off here. They do not. So to the break we go. Stanford held scoreless throughout the first half. And what has been their game this last handful of seasons, 4 times, making it to the Pac-12 Championship and winning it the last 3. We'll see if they can make that a 4th, but it starts here on defense with a 3rd and 9 for Boise State. 2nd quarter underway as they look to have a couple crossers and covered well. It's your Heisman hopeful in Nathan Henderson with the sack. For the defense, they've been bending massively out the gate, but they've stood, forcing yet another field goal attempt. And it'll be 4 for 4 against the Stanford Cardinal this year. March, ending the march for Boise State as they extend their lead, make it 6-0. Back over to the Cardinal offense, who really did not get much going that first drive. It's Wesovich here for a gain of 4. For him, it finally gets him some plus yardage on the day. He stays in the backfield with his 2nd and 6 at the 30. Deep safeties for Boise State. Play action, though, for the Cardinal and looking to go downfield. Bargava can't bring it down. Left it up for one of their other senior receivers, but it's broken up, forcing another 3rd down for the Cardinal. Hard count, no one jumps. Sorensen will throw across the middle. He's got Bargava this time for the first down to the 43. That's what they weren't able to do the previous timeout. Convert a first down. It's back to Wesovich, who cuts down the middle, rolling over the safety on his way for 9. After a couple carries, he'll get a breather. Taj Jewell checks in here again. He went over 100 yards in that last matchup. They look to go his way on the screen, get his speed outside, and he's got the first down to the 38. Definitely the yin to the yang of the power when it comes to Wesovich. Jewell stays out there with the trips look right-hand side. Sorensen, he's got a receiver open downfield. It's Lockett, and it's off his fingertips. I don't even think that was necessarily covered. I just don't think he was able to make the play you would expect. Across the middle and breaking open was Bargava. Yet again, Boise State gets pressure, forces that pass errant. It's 3rd and 10 with a free play by the looks of it. Downfield and finding Thrash for the touchdown. A little late shove there at the end, but you can decline the penalty here on Boise State. That is a touchdown for the Stanford Cardinal. Extra point takes the lead. A massive play, though, for the Cardinal after a slow start. Now, good news, Blair back out there for the Cardinal. We'll see if he's able to fully shake off that injury as they go with a sweep to Fine. He's got 5. You saw Boise State go with that play a few times in the last matchup. Still works about the same way it did as they go following that one actually down the middle, handing it off to Witt. And he's got them a little bit closer for a 3rd down. They need 2. Cardinal bring the blitz. It's picked up initially, but the pressure still hits as both Henry and Henderson find Anelli. Well, this is where the Cardinal could really look to turn the tide as they take over plus side up 1 point. And it's Wesovich down the middle with a bunch of space. He's got 7. He's already more than doubled his carries from that last matchup. Though spread empty here, Stanford Cardinal Jewel, the running back, spread wide, but headed to the backfield here. As they look to set up a screen his way, worked out well last time, but the speed matches. Once again, Boise State, they're going to force that 3rd down. Inches needed. As Biggums checks into the backfield, Sorensen getting the offense set. He's got Babineau back there as well. Cutback lane will just be enough for the 1st. Incognito fights through a few blocks to help get that tackle, but it's at the 37 for a 1st down. And going back to the air here, throws outside, and it's going to be picked off. He threw it too far inside, intended for Kramer, his tight end. A rare mistake for Justin Sorensen, and it's the junior corner and Trey Harris picking off that ball. And now Boise State has the option to take the lead yet again with just about 3 minutes to go here in the 1st half. They get motion yet again, fake it to him and hand it off to Witt, who dances around the front 7 and works his way for the 1st down. He's been a solid back here for Boise State, and he's put in some good work against this defense. At the 43, they go back to Witt against that double A gap look. He shakes a couple tackles and fights forward for a gain of 17. Very much a different style of offense than what we saw the last time Boise played us and beat us a couple seasons ago. Gone is the misdirection. They play true to what it looks like, but they're doing it well. Inside the 2-minute mark here, it's 2nd and 5, and nearly picked off the mitts of Rico Body. That could have been the play we've been looking for. 3rd and 5. And having to throw quick here, beats the look from the Cardinal who brought the blitz. Spread wide was Witt. Manelli found him right off the snap. It's 1st and 10 here for Boise. Stepping up Anelli, but not getting away from Alex Augustine. He has to track back a little bit, but brings him down after a short gain. And throw is inside, finding Fine, who shakes 2 tacklers and converts. Boise State has come to play. They call a timeout, leaving just under a minute to go here in the 1st half of your Pac-12 Championship. The throw outside is caught by Tuttle. Honestly, the Cardinal defense just looks a little bit lost out there. It's 2nd and 1 with 1 timeout to spare here for Boise State. As Anelli rolls to the outside, he will scramble, picking up a fresh set. They still will have 46 seconds to work with here, just needing about 3 more yards to reclaim this lead. Though a field goal would do. Throw is outside and caught out of bounds. He looked for Fine there, their star receiver. Just the throw came in a little bit late. Throw again, back corner, and this time they will find it. Cobbs gives them the lead. Around 30 seconds left here in the 1st half of play. Now the Cardinal have been great this year, making plays in limited time. Can Justin Sorensen lead him on another big drive here? The official 38 seconds to go. They have all their timeouts. Boise State has done well on defense out the gate. And throws late and high above Kramer. A safer throw that time that would have just left it up to Kramer to try to make the play. 2nd and 10. Still about 30 seconds to go. Going back to their tight end who gets that catch and gets down quickly. We're going to see them go hurry up here. Try to get back to that time, saving those few timeouts they have. and get that ball snap. A little bit of some play action. And throwing outside. This time, it's still dropped. Gordon Lockett, the redshirt freshman receiver, came in highly touted this year, but has had drop issues. 18 seconds to go. With a throw outside that's picked off, they tried to find Jewell out of the backfield, and the ball came in at a low arc with some height. You might have found him. But it's a second interception here in the first half for Justin Sorensen, who had a pretty clean first season as a starter. Now it's Ben Burnett who gives Boise State the ball inside field goal range here. They could try to tack on some more, but here comes the pressure. Final timeout called there by Boise. And with that sack and taking that timeout, you'd imagine that is just going to quickly force a field goal attempt. March, we know, can hit from distance. This one is just shy of about a 50-yarder. And he's probably good from 55, maybe even 56. He's got a future in the league. Well, that really puts the Cardinal down bad here at half. 16-7. Boise State has shown up. Meanwhile, the Cardinals seemingly walked into this one expecting they'd be able to do the same thing we saw a couple weeks ago in the regular season finale, and it has not been the case. The run game has been slow, and their defense has struggled to slow down the weapons here of Boise State. Witt racking up yards on the ground. Meanwhile, Anelli is not having any problems finding his targets downfield, even including Witt out of the backfield. The good news for the Cardinal is as we begin the second half of play, it is their ball, and they need a touchdown drive here. Starting back at the 25, rolling and throwing. They've got Lockett this time, who takes a nasty hit across the middle. They'll bounce right back up as the offense goes hurry up here. Keeping with that same look, it's Joe Wesovich in the backfield as he'll fight forward for that first down. We might see a little bit of some hurry up in this second half while the Cardinal do trail here 16-7. Lockett short motion right-hand side. And throwing out to the flat late is Babineau. Only goes, though, as a gain of 2 there for the Stanford Cardinal. 2nd and 8. They go back to a shotgun look. And throwing back to Kramer. He's got the first down, plus side, just shy of the 40. And it's hurry up again here for the Stanford Cardinal. Disrupt his celebration. We've got work to do. Sorensen has them set. It's play action. And throwing out late is back to Kramer. Another gain of 2. Boise State so far responding pretty well to the hurry up of the Stanford Cardinal. They slow things down a little bit here, taking their time to get the play set up at the 39. It's to Joe Wesovich, who looks to get outside, takes on the safety with a good open field tackle. Very rarely does Joe not run over those kind of defenders in open space. Does leave a 3rd and 3. And we have Sorensen making a couple changes back there. Bunch look to the right, one to the left. As they look to go to the air here and open is Thrash. He had their touchdown and dips out at the 24. For not seeing that much playtime this year, he actually has racked up a lot of receiving touchdowns. Might need a few more of them in this one, though. Sorensen goes scrambling and will pick up the first down. He drags a few defenders along the way down to the 12 here. 1st and 10 for the Cardinal. As they get motion, Vallejo all the way across, and Sorensen keeps, but the linebacker reads it. Plays like that were almost a guaranteed touchdown the last couple of years with Gordon Draft. Sorensen really hasn't found the same kind of luck. It's 2nd and 11 down by the end zone. They bring the blitz. Sorensen dances and throws this one away. Kind of feels like Boise State might be in the head here of the Cardinal quarterback. They need 11 here on 3rd. Hard count. Make that 3rd and 6. It's a neutral zone infraction on Nick Granger. For the Cardinal, that could change up what they were looking to do on that play. Now down inside the 10. Bunch right-hand side, Jewell in the backfield. Hard count again, this time not going to pay off. Throwing across the grain, and Kramer is left wide open. A perfect design there to get the touchdown and convert on 3rd down. Stanford bites into their deficit here. The extra point would leave this 16-14. The work for the Cardinal is by no means done. They need a stop here on defense, but they open up the half well. 1st and 10 here. Looks like their defense struggling to get set as they set up a wide receiver screen. It's to Big Ill, who has the first down. Boise State adjusted their look pre-snap, and Stanford did not. Ends up being a good play there for the Boise State Broncos. Continuing with that motion and looking to get Fine outside, who shakes around 2 defenders. It's a foot race. Tracking down and finding him is Rico Body. It will not be a touchdown for Fine, but a massive run that Boise State is going to try to capitalize on as they go hurry up. Keeping 2 out to the right, 1 to the left is Fine. Witt in the backfield. And it'll be a screen to the outside. A new guy in here having to check in, 89. He picks up a big play, and once again, Boise State, they're knocking on the door down at the 8. The 2nd and 1, and the pressure is brought, and the pressure hits. It's legend Anagbar having to check in with some of those defenders a little bit gassed, and he picks up a massive sack. A redshirt junior hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time on defense, but that is a huge one for his squad as the crowd amped up here for the defense to force another field goal, or actually it looks like the offense for Boise State is staying on the field. A gamble here that could pay off huge or be extremely risky down the line. 4th and 3, they hand it off, and peeling back, the D-line will get the stop. It's a turnover on downs. And give some credit to Blair on that one, fighting through some injuries. He makes a big stop there, though getting there first was Alex Augustine. Offense takes over down at the 8, a long field ahead of them. As they start with the air and Sorensen dancing around, he finds some space trying to weave outside. He's got 9. The Cardinal right now, they'll take all the space they can get. Now at the 16, Vallejo motions. Throw that one out late. He's got blocks set up with some grass on the outside. No stiff arm there, but to the 38. They tried that play earlier to Jewel to very limited success. I think it was about a gain of 1.5 yards. Very much the opposite there. 1st and 10 to the 38. Stanford Cardinal, and it's Wesovich in the backfield. They'll go his way, and he's down the middle, bumbling for 7. He's up to 8 carries in this one. Good to have him back there. Still not seeing the same success we're used to, but it is nice to have all the faces out there at this point in the season. Check down does find Kramer as he just gets his head around. It's a 1st down for the Cardinal. You got to feel like they are catching a little bit of their groove here. Should be the last play as they do get the snap off. And again, having to roll out here. It's just going to be Sorensen stepping up. They thought he was going to dip out of bounds. He pulls a Patrick Mahomes maneuver to make sure he picks up at least something there as we send this one to the 4th quarter. Stanford Cardinal coming alive here. Time of possession, basically neck and neck. They're going to need a big 4th quarter to pull this one out and find their 4th straight Pac-12 championship. Starting here at the 41, it's more play action for the Cardinal. Open on the outside is Thrash, who drops it. Normally one of our more sure-handed receivers. That's a big drop. Bigums checks in here. It's 3rd and 3 with a hard count. Should have been a penalty. They don't flag it. But Bigums will get the job done as the Cardinal go hurry up from there. Everyone's sitting in off coverage, so it looks like Sorensen making a change there as he reads the new defensive set. At the 37, they get motion Vallejo left side. They bring the blitz. Ball is out and off the back of Vaughn. I believe it was Babineau leaking out to that left side. Perhaps the hit just took a little bit off of it. 2nd and 10 here. It's Wesovich left side for a few. Just not seeing the Cardinal really break off any big runs in this game. They're going to need 7 here. About field goal range, though, for them, and should be another free play. Downfield, and in a gap, they do find Bargava, converting the 1st down. They can decline the penalty then on Dre Hart. To the 21, Stanford Cardinal with a fresh set of downs inside the 8-minute mark of this game. Tight shotgun look. And again, they go to the left-hand side. That's Kramer. Tried to put the juke on the corner. Almost as surprising as pulling that move out. The corner makes a clean tackle. First and goal down to the 6. It's Jewell in the backfield. As he takes the carry, he's got speed, but the blocking on the outside isn't quite set. It's a gain of 1. Looked like they might have had it for a second. But on second and goal here, they just look to be begging for a run to the left side. And it will be Wesovich in for the lead. The safety wanted nothing to do with that. He simply touches him as he trucks through the goal line and in for the Stanford Cardinal, reclaiming a lead here in the Pac-12 Championship. But here's where they need their defense to lock down Boise State. They've locked down many teams this year, but those games don't matter anymore. It's all about now. As Dragan reads the play beautifully. He fights through several block attempts and brings down Witt just about a gain of half a yard. Brings up second and 9. They go back to Witt, and Dragan is there again. A transfer linebacker from Washington showing up big this drive. Boise, they need 7 more yards to convert on third. As they look to go back to the air and open outside, it's soft coverage. Big Hill converts. Cardinal definitely dared him to throw there, and it wasn't a payoff for the Cardinal. Tackle in the backfield, Nathan Henderson. Boise tried to go with a draw, but there wasn't enough blocking on the outside. The speed of Henderson shows up. Second and 11, the pass is back outside, finding Big Hill. Goes as a gain of 8 and forces another third down here. This time they need just 2. Handing it off, and Witt will have that plus an extra 2, maybe 3. Boise, though, eating up a lot of time here, and that might work in their favor. They do need a touchdown to take the lead. Early movement right side of the line. And it looks like Lawton checking in there will be the culprit. That definitely won't earn you much of any extra playing time. In fact, we see Vieira check in right after and missing the throw under pressure. In fact, there seem to be quite a few players who rotated off that play, so a win there for the Cardinal defense. They're all back out there, though, for second and 5 with a throw outside, and they get it to Fine. He's got another first. Cardinal very much struggling to protect those outside throws today. 41-yard line here is Boise State with motion into the backfield. And it's the blitz here for the Cardinal, throwing over the top of it as now Alex Augustine shaken up. That's now both the DTs for the Stanford Cardinal getting shaken up in this game. Blair trying to fight through, Bullet back out there on second and 3 with a short motion right side. Throwing outside, though, and finding Tuttle. Oh, they've got him chopped down just inside the 20. It's a red zone appearance with some more early movement. It's not flagged, but doesn't matter. Witt will pick up 9. Well, this has been where the Cardinal have really started to lock things down. Can Boise State crack this defense and find the end zone? It's Fine outside with a lead block, but out of nowhere, Lovelace brings him down. That'll set up a first and goal inside the 2-minute mark. They hand it off to Witt, and he has it. Boise State back in front. Inside 2 minutes to go in your Pac-12 Championship. It'll be up to the Stanford offense to find the winner. But before we get there, a 2-point try here for Boise. They're trying to make this a field goal to tie. Pressure and a sack through the rush is Nathan Henderson. Alex Augustine fighting through is down again on that play, but came up with a big stop. It'll be up to the offense to close this game out strong, starting at the 21. As they look to set up the screen, it's out to Jewell, who spins back towards the inside, does not have the first down, so that clock will roll. Now they do just need to get to field goal range here. At the 28, second and 3, they snap that ball, let this play develop. Eventually looking to get outside, that is Sorensen, who will get the first and dips out at the 37. Plenty of time to play with here, plus you've got your timeouts as well. Play action, rolling and throwing. There's Vallejo to the 47. His fourth grab in this one, I think 5 or 6 targets in his vicinity. And they're plus side, sticking with that trips look, and that'll be a flag, moving them 5 yards closer, once again on Granger. Plus for the Cardinal, we also see the clock stop there, 1:03. As they're at the 42, they need maybe about 5 more yards. That's field goal range. And it's Joe Wesovich picking up those 5 as Kevin Busby injured here for the Broncos. Now in college, those injuries do not require a timeout to be used by the team of the injured party, so 3 timeouts still remain for Boise State. As it's Jewell taking the handoff here, he's going to lose 2. Whether that play was just read beautifully or it was a design blitz, it was a great play from the linebacker here at Boise State. As we move inside 30 seconds to go, it's Joe Wesovich with space right down the middle to the 27. The Cardinal will let a good chunk of time run off the clock there before they call a timeout. 10 seconds on the board. But it is the offense still out on the field here. 3rd and 1. And it's Bigums getting stuck behind Babineau. But they do convert. It's an interesting tactic there from Coach Barrington. In fact, they call another timeout with 8 seconds to go. Wesovich back in the backfield here. Shaded toward the right. Imagine they try to line up a go-ahead field goal. And that they do look to do. With 2 seconds left, the timeout is called. And Boise State has not opted to use any of their timeouts until here. They're trying to ice Ritter, who's been a solid kicker here for the Stanford Cardinal. This, though, might be one of his biggest, and taking his time to send it down the middle. Cardinal take the game as the play clock reads 000. Stanford will 4-PEAT the Pac-12 Championship. But it was one heck of a game from Boise State. 24-22 is your final score here, and this one was nothing like what we saw just a couple weeks ago in the regular season finale. Justin Sorensen is your player of the game with 2 touchdowns, and he did have to lead the offense because the run game really was not there with any sort of regularity. But it was for Boise State. Witt put forth a great game, and if they came out on top, he might have just been the player of the game. But that trophy is headed back to the farm. 4 straight years, Stanford Cardinal are atop the pack. And with that win, it becomes official. Coach Barrington is your coach of the year. And I feel like this is the first time officially we have won that award. We also land the Broyles Award for the best coordinator with Luke Murray. Came in when our former coordinator ditched us in the championship game, or just before the championship game last year, to go to Oregon. So that's a little bit of a extra cherry on top of that revenge. And Nathan Henderson is your player of the year with 20 sacks, 31 tackles, 35 tackles for a loss. But is he your Heisman winner? That would be a big ol' yes. So we finish this series, unless we get one in the future, which we will talk about, with 3 defensive ends winning the Heisman under head coach Barry Bearington. But he's not done there. He's also going to take home the best defensive player as well. And while he's at it, might as well also claim best defensive end. That just goes with the others. And with the best defensive end, it also comes with a Lombardi Award as well. But Tyrone Heggie, he steps in as your best defensive back, and he was a guy I don't feel like we really talked about much this year. He made a couple big plays, 3 interceptions, but he was just locking down quarters of the field. And that brings us to bowl week 1 of 4, which obviously is going to be a bye here for a Stanford Cardinal, because you would imagine we would still finish with that number 1 spot, right? Well, turns out, wrong. It goes to Ohio State, even though we were the only undefeated team. But it would book our bid to the Fiesta Bowl, where we have a battle of the colors red. Cardinal versus Crimson, as Stanford plays Alabama with the series on the lines. I had left it up to you all to vote on how long you wanted this series to go, and you all said until college football 26. But frankly, as we record this, it is the 19th. This will be coming out on the 20th, Friday. We do not have much time before the next college football comes out. So what we are going to do is we are going to play these playoff games. If we lose, we are done. But it will not be the end of the Stanford Cardinal. My aim is to put a pause on the Cardinal series and instead start the prequel to what our next series will be on college football 26. It'll begin with a coaching carousel, building the background for who our next head coach is going to be. You'll just have to be here for the start of that series to find out, so make sure you go ahead and hit that sub button, either with the bear icon in the bottom right corner or down below this video, wherever it's easier for you to find. Also, make sure you're tapping that bell icon so you're notified of when those videos go live. But that series will start whenever this season comes to an end. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, leave a like for it down below for it to end after a 3-peat of the national championship. But we will go through a documentary kind of style video is what I'm imagining. So I'll probably end up including about 3 to 4 years of gameplay to wrap out the stories of the guys that have already staked a name on this roster. So we will see the end of the career for guys like Justin Sorensen at running back, Taj Jewell, Bigums as well. Over at the receiver spot, Lockett. He's kind of been a namesake this year, but we are going to lose out on a couple of these guys soon and see some new faces step in. And over on defense, I think one of the biggest ones is Joseph Henry, who was already putting his name in the Heisman candidacy this year. Obviously, that ended up going to his teammate in Nathan Henderson, so we could see the 4th defensive player under Coach Bearington win a Heisman if he could keep up the Stanford edge rush legacy. But that is the plan for us moving forward. We've got the Fiesta Bowl up next, and that will be on Monday. Then, if we win, we'll get the next playoff game on Friday. And as mentioned, whenever we lose or whenever we win at all, we'll start with that new series the following upload day. And you don't want to miss either the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. They are in the playoffs as well. And Cha-Cha Vaz, he's trying to fix the Cardinal woes right now in St. Louis. So we'll see you around the horn here as we've got playoff football up next and for the final time here with the Stanford Cardinal.